Welcome to the quest for the Green Ball, the rise of Ralu Azath. Today we are joined by the Clash at Demonhead, who won a very tough Game of the Week matchup against Loki Lebowski Thor last week with some CD Lamb magic. And for some, the Clash at Demonhead has been in our league for a long time. This is actually the first appearance on this show. I know a lot of excitement going on. So what's happening? Are you excited to be here? Are you excited to be here on the show with a win here?
Oh yeah, I am thrilled because once I found out this week was the game of the week, I was like, that's it. I've got to try and do everything I can to win so I could be on the show. And then I think I was projected to win, and then I ended up falling and trailing, and then it all came down to Monday Night Football. So it was just so wild to win. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like your matchup did not go as planned, especially as the computer saw it. You were able to kind of work yourself up to the top 4 in the power rankings, obviously with a win, and you started at number 2. But obviously you lost your first week, but now you've worked yourself back up. So, but what was going through your head in this one? You kind of mentioned a little, but things weren't going as well. And then you kind of needed a big game by CD Lamb there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, once I saw that I was trailing and that I had Lamb as my only hope on Monday, I just had the attitude of, oh, I lost and, oh, I don't get to be on the show now, but oh well. But then Monday came and I was actually sleeping because I have an early bedtime, but I was getting all these alerts and I was like, oh my gosh, I won. Like, this is crazy. I was supposed to lose.
Yeah, I know. I sent you a text too, like, "Oh my God, Lamb just scored!" Like you have less than a point lead. Like, I remember your reaction in text, but like, what was going through your head at that moment when you're like, "Oh my God, like I'm ahead now."
I just was in complete shock, and I don't, like you said, you know what I said, and I probably can't say it because I said a little swear word, but I was just so surprised because, like I said, once Sunday was done, I was convinced I was losing and I would lose. So it was just amazing to, then I got my phone, saw what happened, and I just was stunned.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had a little bit of Monday Night Magic for myself as well. Also having a look, I feel like there was a lot of weird scores this week, so it's just like we're all in the same boat, just hoping and thinking that we're going to lose, and then things happen. Obviously, it doesn't get easier, as we know in this league. It's tough. It's tough to win. I mean, you have a big one too coming up against Risky Business on the road, and you know how crazy it is when you go to these weird road games here with our cosmic warlord. But obviously you get the win. That's huge. That's awesome. So now that you're on the show, you get to be in one of our fun segments. This week, I would like to do something extra fun with you as there's always like extra tidbits in the NFL that sometimes mess with fantasy. So I kind of wanted to do a little ranking with you, use some Star Wars references. So you excited about that?
Of course. I'm wearing my shirt, and as you can see, the Lego in the background.
Oh yeah, yeah. So let's get to it. Let us now rank the madness. So I'm going to go through 3 weird plays here with you, and at the end you'll rank them. But the ranking will be quotes from Star Wars. So the worst play will be ranked Laugh it up, fuzzball. Of course, that's Han Solo from The Empire Strikes Back. The second worst play will be ranked as a dank freak from The Mandalorian. And finally, the third worst will be another Han Solo quote from The Empire Strikes Back. He's got a lot in that movie. Never tell me the odds. I actually that's one of my favorites. It's not necessarily as high up as the other two, but it's definitely there. So feel free to explain why the quote matches up with the play. Of course, I'm sure you've heard of all these plays, but let me go through these plays first, just so that we're there, and then we'll go through it. So I begin with a play that actually happened this past week, which is why we're doing this. That's right, the butt punt. Like, Dolphins punter Thomas Morstead was forced to punt in their own end zone. He hit the butt of teammate Trent Sheffield, who was pushed back. The ball went up, straight back, safety, giving the Bills a chance. Could have been a catastrophe. One thing to say is, luckily for them, the defense held its ground on a 4th and goal, and they were able to win the game. So it wasn't like a horrible play where they lost. But special teams coach Danny Crossman did say that he wasn't laughing like everyone else. He actually said, absolutely zero amusement, 100% critical mistake that has the opportunity to possibly lose the game. So definitely not pleased by what transpired, even though there are many memes about it now. So that's our first play. Moving on to our second play. I don't know if you remember the Colts catastrophe from 2015 when Chuck Pagano, their former coach, decided to do some weird punt formation on a 4th and 3 on their own 36. 1:14 left in the third quarter of a close game against the Patriots. Wide receiver Griff Whalen was at center. Kicker Cole Anderson went to quarterback. The only two in the center. Everybody else was on the sides. Like, so it was like everybody moved to the sides, and there was just two people in the center, and everyone was like, "What's happening?" Well, the play took so long that essentially the Patriots were like, "Oh, well, okay, we're just going to put everyone in the center." And of course, the rest is history. As the play it just blew up. They stacked the box, blew up the play. They ended up turning over and down, scoring on the next drive, leading to a win. This also led to some amazing memes. I remember seeing a Tecmo Bowl spoof where somebody actually like went to the option screen and went down, and instead of punt, it said WTF punt. And they selected that, and then it was that play, and it obviously led to disaster. So, you know, it was one of those weird things that Pagano tried to justify it by saying that they wanted to catch Bill Belichick confused with 12 men on the field so that they could get a penalty. I'm not sure I believe that. It was such a weird play. Lastly, of course, I turn to the infamous butt fumble. I know you know that one. Everybody talks about that. I'm pretty sure there's a Wikipedia page on that as well now. This is when Mark Sanchez, he went off. He essentially went to hand the ball off to a running back, but he went the wrong way. So now he's kind of, I have the ball, I'm going to get sacked. He decided to try and like run the ball, but he ran right into offensive lineman Brandon Moore's butt. So just right in there, the slow motion, you can see jiggling and everything. He bounced off, fumbled the ball, and the Jets were down 14-0 at this point, but it was only the second quarter. And after the fumble, it just went right to New England. Steve Gregory picks it up, goes, 6 points for the defense. The best is the quote. Mark Sanchez said, "It's embarrassing. I guess I was stunned more than anything. It was just like a car accident." And it's just amazing. Now, I do have to say that there's a Wikipedia page on this, and I think they just began the kind of Colts catastrophe as one. The butt punt might be one later because it's such a weird term and a weird thing that we'll never see. But, this is why we want to rank these, like which one's worse, like which one's, they're all bad, but which one's the worst. So we're going to have some fun here. Awesome. The third worst is never tell me the odds. So which one would you say that, Han Solo would be like, never tell me the odds, which is, it's a bad play, but it's the third worst out of these.
That's tough, but I believe the third worst is just the butt punt. So the
Yeah.
first one, just because, again, it's going viral, and I don't think this has happened before. And like you said, there are pages on all the crazy butt stuff. So
Yeah, that's and that's a good point. I also want to call it that the Dolphins didn't lose, so I could totally see why that one would be the worst out of these. The other teams did lose, so there's that. So I agree. So now moving up to the second, you have Dank Freak. So essentially, it's like the curse word of the Mandalorian. Which one do you think would be second worst out of all these?
hmm. And what was the third one again
So we had
for
the
the play?
so the worst, laugh it up, fuzzball. If you remember that quote
Oh
from
yeah, I have the quotes. I remember the second play was with the was it the Colts?
yeah, the Colts
And the
punt that
and then what's
strain
the third one?
that was the butt fumble with Mark Sanchez, the infamous butt fumble when he ran into his offensive lineman's derriere and fumbled the ball for the Patriots to take it back for touchdown, which is just insane. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I'm gonna pick that one just because, like you said, it was insane, and I honestly feel like, well, we can talk about it for the number one, but yeah, I just think this didn't quite get first place as being the worst, but just second place.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So you're going with the Colts catastrophe as number one. Laugh it up, fuzzball. The Colts
Laugh it up,
catastrophe.
fuzzball. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite Star Wars quotes, but
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
I just think it's pretty terrible because of just what went down and just the craziness,
And that they had a lead at the
and
time, by the way.
they
So
had the lead at the time, and just to me this seemed very like out of the ordinary for Chuck Pagano, so that's why I'm ranking this as number one worst.
yeah, and I think that that's great because a lot of people do the butt fumble just because it's so strange of a play. But I agree that the Colts catastrophe is one where it's like they had the control of it. You know, it's like here's the play. It wasn't just an odd play; it was that it was a bad play from the start. Like, so it's
Yep.
just you know. So I actually will personally agree 100% with your rankings. That's how I would do it. I totally agree. I mean, again, you have the butt punt where it was just like, yes, we're going to be talking about it. It's going to be memes. It's going to go viral, all those things. But because the Dolphins were able to win, it's not as bad. If they lost, it would probably be a crazier situation. And then the butt fumble, it should definitely be up there in the top three. But yeah, the Colts catastrophe, I think, is underrated. On a lot of lists, when I was going through this, they actually have it down like sixth worst NFL play. I think it's the worst. Like it's just, it led them to a loss. It was the most ridiculous punt formation I've ever seen. And one tidbit of it is even if for some reason it worked, they would have gotten a penalty for illegal formation because you cannot have two people on the line of scrimmage. Like that's not how you play football. So it's just horrible plays. Like so yeah, so that's some crazy stuff. And as you say, that's your favorite quote. That's how I was going through this, you know, like what are the most famous quotes there? And obviously Han Solo has several. Dank Freak is kind of one that's coming on strong lately with the Mandalorian success, but yeah, just to throw in there, what are your thoughts on mixing those quotes with these weird NFL plays? Do you think it fits here?
Oh yeah, I think it fits. I mean, I probably could think of just some random ones, but I really do think you hit spot on, and I appreciate you bringing up Star Wars because you know I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, and
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. I finished watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I highly recommend that for everybody, and there's just so much new stuff coming out, like end of this year and into next year. And now I'm watching Andor, which I think is really good. So
Yeah, a lot of good content there. So you said you could think some. So what are some of the quotes on the top of your head that you might have put as honorable mentions as possibilities here?
I'm trying to think. Um, yeah, it's hard.
There's so many. I know it's difficult to narrow it down. You know, I know you've seen so much content, so you know it all. So sometimes seeing more too hurts because you've seen so much that it's almost like overload. So that's kind of where I
Like,
was.
I kind of feel like one could be from Princess Leia, where she's like, "Will somebody get this walking carpet out of my way?" Because she was just so for Chewbacca,
Yeah,
and yeah.
that's good. That's good. I definitely see that one. Yeah. Well, obviously this was. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun here.
Oh, yeah. I had
uh,
a lot of fun too, and I'm just like looking ahead to the week. I mean,
yeah.
I have a couple of people that are potentially going to be questionable, and
Yeah. It's
then
always tough.
I wasn't too thrilled about is it DeAndre Swift being
Yeah.
out
So
this
yeah,
weekend?
that's rough
So
because he's
it is
when he's
rough.
healthy, he's one of your top backs. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
I hope to join again. Maybe if I make a playoff run, I guess
Oh
we'll
yeah, you'll
see.
have another game of the week option too. So if you could win that one, but
Oh,
yeah, so there's always,
awesome.
and then again, if you're in a race at the end, there might be a third, and then yes, absolutely playoffs. You'll be joining. So yeah, so you have lots of opportunities here. So I'm glad you were able to join. Congrats on that huge win. And thank you for dropping by to talk about catastrophes and butts. Like it's not a normal way to come on, but
So,
yeah.
one last thing, which I think is funny because of the topic of butts and football and all that. I'll never forget, it was probably maybe 5 years ago or less, but it was when Des Bryant was playing, and I'll just never forget, like, it was a tackle, a pile up kind of thing,
Yeah.
and his pants were falling down so you could see his butt crack, and I'm
There
just
you
like,
go.
"Oh my."
Yeah.
So yeah, it
It,
happens.
inevitable.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for all that you do, and I really enjoy all the content, and I've shown your work to friends and they love it too, and they said they wish they were in a fantasy football league like this. So just know that everything you're doing is just so creative and awesome, and I know the entire group of ours really appreciates it, and it's yeah, it's just a lot of fun and getting competitive and a little bit of trash talk, but otherwise, we're all pretty nice. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate those kind words a lot. And again, once again, thanks to the Clash at Demonhead coming on here. Don't sleep at the Clash at Demonhead. There's a reason why they're up in the power rankings. Why preseason they were number 2. Like, definitely a team for all of us to watch. And that's the content for the week. Until next time, salut. And before you go, check out the updated Game of the Week results and schedule